Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com on the play for a change. The last two matches I was on the draw and certainly cost me a game against Rakta or Orzhov Scam in match number 3 here. We have our 2 channel lands in a swamp. Okay, well, Fall Season Fatal Push give us some action against any sort of Is It deck with Ragavan or Ragavan playing deck. The lack of a second blue source and no way to dig for it is problematic, but we have lands and spells, so let's give it a try. Going for the big 2-3 dream after starting 1-1 and losing the last 2 matches. Like I said, one to Orzhov Scam, where we got scammed, and then another to Lotus Field Twiddle Thassa's Oracle combo, where we went to game 3 and lost to a bunch of constructs from the Urza Saga. So great, that was really fun. This is a really awkward mana base right now because we don't have even a way to get double blue. Oh, it's Merfolk. Okay. Well, them turning something into an island isn't bad for us. Cavern of Souls, we don't get to counter anything. We'll take the Aether Vial. Having played Merfolk once already, I preparing myself for the 1-4 in this league. It's not an easy matchup for us. As long as opponent controls an island. So they didn't kick it. Alright, so it's just a 1-1. That's fine. We can Fatal Push the Lord, assuming they didn't draw anything else. And we got another Fatal Push. So we will get an island down, as awkward as that is, and go ahead and pass. I keep getting this game bar notification. See what they're up to. Probably Cavern and then Lord, I imagine. We don't even have the second blue spell in hand to try to cheat this force if they were to draw another Vial or something. This is okay. So I've played Merfolk now. This will be the second match, and in both of the games in the first match and in this match, my opponent has kept a hand with only a couple Merfolk, and then proceeded to draw a lot of Merfolk and beat me down pretty easily. I wonder if they're going to name dragons. Oh, Merfolk. Oh well. Can't be countered. That's fine. It can be killed. What would we like to draw here? I don't even know. An island, preordain. Not a dragon turtle. Well, I put dragon turtle in this deck to show off its power, flexibility, and its jankiness. And so far, it's really been underwhelming. Of course, when your mana screwed, both color and here we need a 4th mana. At least we made our land drops. Our hand's just not shaping up the way we would like, and then they probably drew another Lord because that's the way Merfolk does after having 2 creatures in hand. They are, of course, going to draw another Lord. That's the way Merfolk opponents seem to run, that's for sure. So about the only thing we have in the sideboard for this matchup is Engineered Explosives. So we'll go ahead and Fatal Push the Lord. So a 4th land would be nice. We could flash down Eben Death, Draco Lich on their end step. Thoughtseize, when we know they have an island, is probably exactly the worst draw in our deck, short of maybe a Murktide, given that we don't have an island, but at least we'd be drawing towards something. Wow. All right, it's going to go out like this, I see. Couldn't hit a 4th land, couldn't hit a second blue source, drew our worst card. Sometimes it'd be like that, and an opponent will never, and they're going to be able to tap. Okay, That's cool. Opponent will never be holding on to a card to Thoughtseize the rest of the game. And pretty sure all they have is an island. Thought Scout. Well, we're going to have to run it out and hope to hit an island off of it. And it is a swamp. And we don't have our Thoughtseize. I was thinking, or Fatal Push. I was thinking for some reason we still had a Fatal Push in hand, but we do not. So if I was the opponent, I would, depending on what you draw, of course. If you draw a Lord, you might want to swing in with everybody. But otherwise, attack with these two, save this to tap down my only blue source. Or just draw one of your best draws. I mean, opponent is running super hot. That's the way it seems to be against Merfolk. You saw their opening 7. Not very good. A Vial, 1 Merfolk, and a Lord. I mean, Vial is, they want that in their opening every time. I know that much. Yep, that's what their plan is. Tap target land, and we will float the mana. Now, do we go ahead and cast Even Lich Draco, or Even Death Draco Lich? Opponent's just going to be swinging in for... We have to. I mean, we can't trust we're going to draw something. We're so far behind on board. If we do draw, which we didn't. Sigh. Okay, well, they're going to be swinging in for 5, if not 6. We're going to be swinging back for 5. I'm sure they will draw nothing off of this when they attack. And that we will have no problem winning this race. Or they'll just draw a Lord. That seems pretty good, too. Man, our opponent's just running hot, 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 while we're running cold, cold, cold. Painful way to go out, but not too surprising. Merfolk puts a lot of pressure on. I just can't believe how well our opponent's drawn this game compared to how poorly we've drawn. Same second verse, same as the first. I mean, there's nothing we can do. No reason to float the mana at this point. There's our Murktide. There's our Preordain we can't cast. Let's send a message. Is there any reason not to attack? Not really. I guess we'll make the correct play no matter how painful this is. Well, just running really awkward. Opponent running really hot. They can swing in for near lethal. We can block and take 8 and go to 1 and just be dead to everything on the swing back. We can block and take 6 and go to 3 and still basically be dead, and then because that one doesn't even die. I mean, we'll block. Another Lord. Man, holy cow, look at that. I mean, that is some major, major hot fire running off the top. Man, they drew so well that game. I mean, we drew so poorly that they didn't even need to draw that well to win, but holy cow, they hit it all. That is super frustrating. It would be nice for us to hit it all sometimes, maybe. Maybe we can draw really well. Is that possible? Okay, so the question I usually, for me in this matchup, is Spreading Seas. Do we bring it in for Cavern of Souls? And In the past, I have not, but I think I'm going to actually bring it in this time because Cavern kind of negates a lot of what we're doing here with our counter magic, takes away a lot of our answers. And then we want the subtleties. So that's a lot to bring in. Do we care about, what do we want to take out? All right, so we bring in a lot of removal. So our plan of action then by bringing in all this removal is to play a long game, manage the early game, bring in that for a sweeper, manage the early game. Force doesn't seem that great. But manage the early game by either countering or killing until we have enough in our graveyard to cast a Murktide Regent with counterspell backup. Alright, so we need to cut 4 more. So we go down a Thought Seize, a Thought Scour, Preordain, Even Death. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any hope in this matchup, to be honest. Certainly not when this is the kind of hand we start with. Again, just not any luck with the land the past couple matches. We're really getting color screwed in our 2-color deck. We only run, I think, 4 black sources that don't produce blue mana. I can't find us blue mana. Oh wait, did I actually hit keep on that? Well, that is awkward. One land, 1 keep. I thought I hit mulligan. Well, let's hope for a blue source. If we get a blue source, then we can maybe come back from that terrible decision, accidental decision. Should pay more attention to my clicks. There's the Cavern, right on time. So blue source off the top gives us lets us cast Spreading Seas, hopefully draw a second blue source to get the counterspell going. At this point, do we care? I mean, would we like, we probably should save our Fatal Push for a Lord. And just pretend like we're going to draw well. Okay, blue source, please. A blue source, and we might have a chance. My OP is trying to plan out their entire hand right now because they're taking a while. Gotta hydrate. And we do not hit the blue source. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, GG's, I imagine, but holy cow. What a way to go out. Like I said, and maybe it was my subconscious clicking for me because I was in the process of saying I don't have much hope in this matchup. And I clicked keep when I meant to click mulligan. But it is what it is. I mean, a 2-3, it's a beautiful thing, I guess. Compared to a 1-4 at least. Let's see what they followed up with. Doesn't seem like they have a Lord. Must have some counter magic. Maybe we'll get lucky and hit the blue source here, even though it's already too late. Because they'll counter it, probably, whatever. Oh, a second Spreading Seas. Well, rather than discard, we will cast this Fatal Push. See how badly our opponent wants to keep their Tide Shaper around. If I was them, I would say, okay, that's cool. They're going to flash in there. Guess I could have let it go to instep, but All right, so I'm chatting with my opponent a little bit, telling him what happened. See if I can get an island here. I mean, it's possible we can chain together enough lands with these spreading seas if we can just hit a single island that we can come back, but it's so unlikely at this point. All right, well, so I'm chatting with a opponent. He's pretty nice, or she. Name like Chad. I'm assuming it's a guy. Must discard the hand size, so we will discard the Even Death Drago Lich since we can always get it back. There's some thought to discarding a instant or sorcery, but at this point, let's see what our opponent's got going on and just how dead we are. Lord, sure. Nope, not a Lord, just Trickster. Force, Stern Scolding, yeah, I mean, there's no coming back from this. Two of these. All right, well. One land, one keep. Still chatting with the opponent. I don't have anything else to say to this. Merfolk's going to steamroll me. And that's about it. Didn't draw another land. We'll die on the next turn. See if we get that island. They have the force too to stop us from doing anything. Show them our hand. Oh, I didn't even get to show them our hand. All right, well, that's the end of our league. As you can see, man, brutal. Went 1-4. Seems like every time I make changes to the deck that would increase the power level, the performance gets worse. Makes me wonder about my deck building if the first version just isn't already streamlined and efficient, but that's kind of arrogant to think that the first version is going to be the best. I do think that some of the changes are good. I think with this more control build Dimir deck that we are just too slow, and we are running into the same problem all control decks run into with if their answers line up with what their opponent's doing, it looks really good, and if they don't, you're just left with a bunch of dead cards. So I think for now I'm done with the Dimir Dragons, 4 leagues. I think my overall record is something like 4-20 again, just as bad as the Rakdos Dragons. Clearly, there were mistakes made on my part, but some of these matches were super close. Turned on a dime, single decision point, one better draw here. I would have won me the game and perhaps the match. Other matches didn't feel close at all. And sometimes that's just the way it is with Dragons or just any deck in Modern. Modern can be a degenerate format. What else do I want to say about the Dimir Dragons? Really fun deck. Murktide region is super powerful. I can see why it's part of the best deck and one of the best decks in the format. I really do think Stitcher's Supplier needs to be back in the main. I mean, the way this current build is, we could get out a Murktide, a pretty big Murktide on turn 3 or 4. But if our opponent dealt with it, which our opponent usually could, we didn't have much of a graveyard left to get out our second Murktide. Or let's say we had the first one stick around, we still didn't have a way to fill our graveyard fast enough to grow the first one to really close out the game. And that was where Stitcher's Supplier really came in. He filled the graveyard, kept giving us a way to turn out Murktide after Murktide, assuming we drew it. So I think if and when I will revisit this deck and make another video later. I just need a break from losing with the Dimir Dragons. I can only take so much after all, even being a lover of dragons in Modern. But I think what I would end up doing is putting the Stitcher's Supplier back in for specifically the Stern Scolding and the Spell Snare, both of which could have been really, really good in the right spot, but they just weren't. They didn't play that well, and I really felt the lack of Stitcher's Supplier and not being able to fill my graveyard. Dragon Turtle, he's cute. Maybe I'll say dragons in Modern is enough. Take it out, put in something more interactive. The addition of Lorien Revealed and the big troll with this island and swamp cycling felt okay. As you can see, I did miss mana in that last game with the one lander. I also was color screwed a couple times. Had I had 23 lands, would that have happened? I don't know. The other games, though, it ran really smoothly and good. I mean, had we drawn one of those cyclers, I probably took them out, though. Can't remember at this point. Either way, I'm kind of on the fence about those. I think I might take out the troll, put in another land, and then maybe another counterspell. So go up to 22 lands, keep the Lorien Revealed in, put back in Stitcher's Supplier, maybe go up 2 Stern Scolding, or keep 2 Stern Scolding in, take out the Dragon Turtle, I could put in the One Ring, make room for Orcish Bowmasters, something to help smooth out the deck, give us, no one needs to be told how good Orcish Bowmasters is or why they're that good, so that would help give us a little bit more game. I mean, Dragon Turtle is really good in spots, but doesn't bring us back from behind in any way. I will say that these last couple matches just ran really awkwardly against opponents who ran really well, especially against Merfolk. But okay, well, that's the wrap up. Thanks for watching. This is Johnny Cycles from cyclesgaming.com. I'll see you the next time.